needs a little work, but I don't think it's gonna last long at this price.
There's a pool. Always wanted a pool. Is this everything?
We'll grow into it.
Y'all ready? Marco.
Hello. Marco.
Hello.
Marco. I hear you. You need to say something back. Ronan, Marco. Marco. I can hear you. Why aren't you saying anything? Ronan, you're dead. Marco.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Jay Rich. You know me, Spider-Man all day, every day. I'm here with another J1 staffer.
This is Double Driver 1313, better known as Brian Elm, content manager and creator of Gunsticker Swordsman.
And I am Asher Smart, joining in for today.
Yeah, we Asher, you came in, you were part of the public crew that got to get this advanced screening of Nightswim. I was so hyped with the trailer and everything I saw beforehand, and wow, was I disappointed. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but Brian.
It's literally if you were to take Amityville Horror and make it a pool scene. That's it.
You see James Wan's name attached to this, you know him from Conjuring, but when the entire movie is just a laughing fest, it's a problem. When the horror scene is supposed to scare you, but you are laughing, that is a serious problem.
Yeah, let me tell you. So this screening wasn't a press-only screening. This was a public screening, and the crowd was cracking up almost from beginning to end. Because, like I said, it had a great premise, but 20 minutes in, I already knew where it was going. I was like, oh, this is going to be like Amityville. You know, family goes to the pool, like, and they're obsessed with, somebody's going to be obsessed with a pool. Usually it's going to be the father, because it's easier to beat up on the dad in cinema than it is like the mother.
Especially when it's beaten down because he's already in a bad spot anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like I said, we're not going to go into any spoilers or anything like that. But man, when I say every trope you could think of that isn't R-rated happened in this film, it felt like it was like a best of movie tropes, you know,
like a top 10 list.
Yeah, they had a checklist, and they were like,
we did this.
You know, we're gonna do the typical Marco Polo horror scene, you know, which was so goofy, and the way they handled it, like when I say execution was bad, like every time they did some type of jump scare, the crowd laughed instead of like screamed. A good example of a good, like, you know, horror scene in other movies, Talk to Me. Whenever they had like a jump scare or like a surprise moment, the crowd actually like screamed in horror. Oh, yeah. This was a laughing fest. People, it was funny because we were all laughing and made fun of the movie so badly that there were people sitting in front of us and they were trying to be all serious about it, and I'm like, calm down, this is not a good movie. Like, but like, I still respected them, and I had to make Brian shut up too, because like we were just being goofy. And
I'm sorry, it was just like I'm like, this, I was calling everything. This is literally like Poltergeist when the same thing happened to Craig T. Nelson's character and he got taken over. It was the same deal. It was a toned down version of Poltergeist.
It was a toned down version of all of the popular movies. And I believe, I have to check on this, but I believe this was based on a short film that was on YouTube or what have you. And I've seen examples of short films that were on YouTube that actually, when they got the money and the budget, did well. Yeah, you're hearing, traffic because we're outside. Don't worry about that. But like an example of that is Lights Out. That was a short film, and that had a very I thought was a decent film. Mama was a fantastic short film that had I loved Mama. Like that was an example of like transitioning from short film to stretching it out to be a feature film.
Movie, yeah.
This felt like it still should have stayed a short.
It's just sad because it had so much potential, and you can try to blame the PG-13 rating, but even then, you can still make a good horror with PG-13.
Yeah, you can make a good horror with that.
It doesn't even need gore. It doesn't even need jump scares. You can still create that unsettling environment, but this failed.
The writing was bad. Like, some of the dialogue was so cheesy. And they jumped from little... Because they were trying to give you little nods. Like, there were certain things I saw. Like, there was one time when the mother had a scary dream about the pool. She wakes up, and in the back, well, not really in the background, but behind her, you could see that the clock said 3 o'clock. So I'm like, ooh, the witching hour. Like, all right, cool. and there was no real payoff. The scares or the entities that were involved with making the pool scary weren't even scary. They looked goofy. And some of them reminded me of, like, if you took a Power Ranger monster and tried to make it more, like, horrific or scary. Like, I don't know. It was just bad.
It was not good.
It was lazy all around.
And the fact that everyone, as the credits, not even the credits roll, when, they show the title sequence at the end, like the logo and all that stuff, and they're just like, boom. Everybody just started laughing. That was bad.
It was like, now, from my stories, I like folklore, I like legends, I like, like supernatural stuff. And when this was a supernatural thing, I figured, okay, since this was, again, it's one of those things that happens for like hundreds of years, but there's no backstory on how it started, what started it. Why is it continuing?
There was no payoff. There was no payoff for learning the lore.
Right, exactly. There was no lore. The lore was there, but there was no story behind the lore. Like, how did this start? And there was nothing. I was looking for that, and there was nothing there. It's just, somebody finds out, blah. Okay, how do we stop it? I don't know how we stop it.
Here's one thing I was hoping they wouldn't do, but they do it in almost every horror movie. When a parent has to when they have to give you the lore, the parent usually goes to like the library or goes online and then visits like the previous owner's home and asks questions. And even that part was cheesy. And I was just like, come on. So, I mean, I'm gonna just say this movie was just bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen the original short film, but I feel like this probably should have stayed as that short film. If they weren't going to do justice into making it a full length,
they should just left it alone. I kid you not, the June own short film is way better than this. Just one episode of that is way better than this whole movie.
Like this was silly. This was just a silly movie. It was a silly movie. Well, it is January, so we expect to get a lot of crap movies. So here we are. You know what? You know what to do. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Follow J1 Studios all the way through. And Asher, you got anything you want to promote? You got anything?
Not really right now.
He sells drugs. No, I'm just kidding.
Pull up.
Pull up.
Let me give you my address.
Yeah, he's the plug. He's the plug. All right, so listen, we're out of here because this is just downright ridiculous. All right, y'all. Peace. And don't forget, help a brother out.